Hi and welcome to another Tabitha's Glass Emporium YouTube video. Today we're going to do this fantastic Halloween candy bowl. This is using up old cabochons that you might have made during the course of your glass career and gone, I'm not thrilled with these, I really don't know what to do with them. And then you get to stick them in a candy bowl and make this fantastic piece. So first of all, I've cut my base. Now I've chosen to go round. I'm lucky I have a lot of use of scrap, so I can, but if you don't, just do square, do a square candy dish. I've chosen also to cut 3 2mm bases in different colours to give that kind of nice edge-on feel to the project. And when it's slumped, that's going to look cool, and it's sort of like a little piece of candy in itself. So, for all you English people, I'm sorry, I'm calling it candy, not sweets. My kids have been corrupted by YouTube. So next I'm going to think about my sweets. Now, along the edge, I want to do these sweets with the kind of candy wrappers on them. And so I'm going to kind of do those round the edge. Now, how I've done those, if I just take one of the these kind of cabochons I've made or found around the studio, and then literally I've cut with 2mm glass just pieces of ones that kind of resemble the ends of a candy wrapper. And I'm going to put them on like that. But then what I'm going to do, so that they've kind of got this 3D feel to them, and particularly this one where it sort of feels a bit wonky, is just to put some pieces of, this is 3mm fibre paper cut really fine. You can see how fine I've cut it. Kind of then going lengthways up, so it's the 3mm up. I'm leaving a little space between the edge of that, and I am going to need to cut them down. They only will need to be the length of the kind of the slightly shorter than the length of the bit of glass they're going under. So I'm going to leave a little bit of space between that and the edge of the sweetie, so they're kind of curved down into it, and then just balancing those on. It's a little bit fiddly, but it's worth it. So again, I'm going to break this one in half. Put a couple of pieces here. And then just place that on. And so when it's tack fused, that will fuse over. You're going to leave these bits in when you do your slump. Just, I'm going to say this now, I'm going to say this before I do the slump. Leave these in when you do the slump because it will keep them held up. And after you've done the slump, then you can kind of poke them out with a sharp pokey thing of your choice. So you can see now I've done the whole rim. We've put paper onto some of them, the fibre paper, put stringers on some. We've used a couple of our kind of Halloween themed murrine. We've got some spiders here, some spider webs, some crazy eyes around. And now we've done that. Some have paper onto, some don't. It's just a mixture. So we've had really enjoyed doing this. It's been fun. So now I'm just going to literally fill up the middle, which is going to be mostly kind of covered by sweets, hopefully, if it's a sweetie bowl, with just a kind of these. And it's a slightly trick-or-treat bowl because, the kid's going to go in there for a little sweet and try and grab one of these cabochons and realise they can't have that one. So that's part of the fun of it. So literally just going to dot these around and fill up the whole area, and then I might decide, I'll put a little kind of sweetie one here or there. Once I've decided how it's looking. So here it is all filled up. These have been turned into little monsters. Using some of our crazy eye murrine for eyes, and then also added kind of some spiders and some spiders webs on some things. This is now going to go in on a tack fuse. Now you'll notice we've got quite a lot of layers here. We've got 6mm here, 6mm here, and another little bit on top there. So this is quite thick. It's like a 12, 13, 14mm project, plus it's multi-layers, so we're going to fire it for like a 30cm project. Check the firing schedules. It will be per Bullseye's annealing schedule for that thickness of project. So here it is out of the kiln from the tack fuse. It slipped a bit in a couple of areas, but I don't think that kind of takes away from the piece. Thinking about slumping, there's a great video on Bullseye's resource about multiple firings and the things you need to think about. It's great, worth the $45 subscription. There will be a link at the bottom, plus a link to the actual video. But it talks about the fact that when you're firing more times, you need to think about how, slow down your heating up. You don't want to do heating up with a normal. This is also a thick project with lots of thicknesses, so we're going to go incredibly slowly on heating this up. Initially, when I talked about the rate I was going to fire this on, I talked about doing it at about 30, but actually it jumps from 25 to kind of 38, and it's then a 6 hour, which is kind of massive. And it was just only tiny bit over 25, 26 maybe. So I'm afraid I wasn't conservative, but if you want to be conservative, either don't put the things on top or go with the longer 6 hour rate. But for slumping, we will do the 6 hour because it's a second firing and it's, it is thick. So but the rate I'll use for heating it up will be the rate of initial cooling, or the end cooling of the annealing charts. The schedules are all at the end. If you don't feel you've got time, pause it, take a photograph, you'll see it. But just be, you should be aware of Bullseye's annealing thick slabs. As it's uneven thicknesses, you take your thickness, so we've got 6 mil, 6 mil, plus a little bit more here, but let's say 6 mil and 6 mil. That's 12 mil, and then you're timesing that by 2 to 24 mil. So with the bits on top, it's maybe 25 mil, 26 mil, which is where I was getting into trouble. But definitely on the slump, I'm going to do a very long schedule. So here it is, all out and slumped. Next I need to poke these bits out. I have various different pokey things I use. I really like these. I think they're for polymer clay, or you could use a toothpick or whatever you have around to poke out. Please make sure you wear your masks when you're poking out. You need to protect your lungs from the fibre paper. So you're just going to go in and literally kind of work it out with whatever tool you've got handy. Try not to scratch the glass while you're doing it. That's why the wooden ones, clay ones, are quite good. And then once you've got all the bits out, it's all nicely finished. I mean, there might be some bits that are wedged quite firmly inside and you actually can't get out. That doesn't really matter, as long as they're not going to, fall out over time, and you give it a good wash and get out as much as you can. It should absolutely be fine. So I'm going to get the rest of this out and then come back to you with the finished product. So here's the final bowl. I'm really pleased with it. I've cleaned out all the fibre paper and I think it's looking great. It's a pity they don't do trick-or-treating here, but at least we're having a Halloween party, so the kids will get to see it anyway. And if you've liked this video, please subscribe and remember to press the bell button if you want to receive notifications.